is the state of play right now when it comes to the Peace Pact? It's a simple one. NDC is not barging on this particular subject. They are standing their ground. They are insisting that they will not sign the Peace Pact. They have 6 conditions that they've laid before the Peace Council for their consideration. And that's where we are. Nothing has changed. That's the state of play. The Peace Council, they are engaging. They are trying to engage with the MPP. And I really don't understand whether that would actually get the NDC to change his mind, because the 6 conditions that they've laid out are quite specific. 1, a full implementation of the Yawaso West Wogon by-election Commission of Inquiry's report. 2,
not the white paper.
Well, the report. There's a difference there, right? Because that's for the white paper. In fact, indeed, even if you go to white paper, there are things in the white paper that government has still not implemented.
Yes, some structural things that I said were referring to the relevant institutions of state. You know, I had tracked that a couple of years ago, following the commission's, I think the next 2 years or so, I tracked level of implementation. And it reached the point, even the national security said they had made overtures to try and pay some compensation to the people. There were 2 people that I spoke to at the time. There was this lady, a hairdresser. Her place was vandalized. She was actually attacked one way or the other. Her places where they did that thing. There's a gentleman who also had some difficulty with the leg and all of that. That gentleman said the only form of help he had gotten, and subsequently, national security came to give them something. At least we were told that that's what had happened. But at the time, he told me that the only form of help he had gotten was from John Dramani Mahama, and that nobody else had actually cared about his state. Then the lady said there were promises made to her. Up till now, she's not gotten anything. If you fast forward to when the national security said they had, because we pushed this way, right? We kept asking that same question about what have you done in this instance to show that never again is your word, and that nothing is going to happen after that. Then they were given a lot of work, and national security came in to say, listen, we have taken upon ourselves to implement the sections that relate to us and to relate to the payment of compensation. So they said they are giving about 6 or so people some compensation, some amount of money, and that they even took pictures of it and did a publication on it. So to me, that was a part of the problem solved. But again, just like the National Reconciliation Commission's report, just like subsequent reports that had dealt with structural problems within our security architecture, and if you take the report keenly, there were parts to do with how we deploy, how we put together teams, how we even decipher and the architecture for election security. That no institution on their own, nobody can just wake up one morning, be you from national security or whichever, and order a grouping, sometimes unknown to the police structure itself, who are policemen attached to institutions to go and do things. So those were things we're supposed to streamline. And they use words like that, streamline, get rid of multi-directional instructions and all of the other things. I'm not so sure, because those ones you may not get to know, because they are within the institution, whether or not they have been implemented. But if you look at the bigger reports, part of it was rejected, especially the prosecution of, he became very popular, the circle phone guy who became a national security operator.
Yeah, Double.
Yes, Double. Yeah, the guy who sells phone and became a national security operator. And all of the other conversations, prosecution of people like that, and the guy who slapped Sam George. That kind of conversation.
And also reprimanding, at the time, Brian Champon.
Brilliant. So all of those were put in there, but government rejected some. And I suspect the national security implementation was only to do with the ones that had to do with their structural changes that were supposed to be done. Is it worth now? And quite frankly, I do not believe that government, even if it means well, or has any intentions of going back to the actual report, not the white paper, to go and implement it now.
Yeah.
No. And most revenue stables said, even if they are intending to implement that now, the timing may not allow them to do it as well as they may just do some whitewashing or some, But have we been given the clearest indication that the structure that delivered Ayasu West Wogon will not be the structure? Dismantled. Yes, so you get a point. So that's where I think the fear is.
The only consolation is that we've had at least 2 by-elections, at least, because there have been more. I just can't recollect how many exactly. 2 by-elections since then.
And it appears Dampare has a hang
Yeah.
over the and see, but during the main election, we deploy not just Dan Paris men.
Everybody else.
Yes.
But the police, Dan Paris sits on top of all the in terms of the
okay.
election security task force.
Yes. So no, that's a new thing.
Yeah.
That is what is Dan Paris control.
Yeah.
So we should not expect any surprises. We should not expect any grouping that will appear, let's say, at Ayawaso or any other place.
Which is also part of the recommendations of the commission.
That's true.
That have the pyramid. At the tip of that pyramid must be the IGP.
The
police must lead everything.
Yes.
And they can only activate the military, for example, if they feel they've lost control.
But when they're on the ground, they're under their command.
Of course.
So that there's proper coordination.
Yeah. But you raise a very important point. And we're coming back to the conversation we're having about, so Nahu Kosam, these 6 conditions, are they realistic? Because we are in August. September, October, November. In fact, you have just about 4 months to go. I mean, if you're looking at it, maybe 3 months really to go. Is this realistic to expect that these 6 conditions can be implemented and executed in time to the satisfaction of the NDC for them to say, we're ready to sign a peace pact? My verdict on that is, it's not realistic that this will happen in the next 3 months. Why?
But Evans, before even that, until your interview with Johnson and Sedin Ketia, was the Peace Council aware that they were going to engage the people again ahead of a peace pact?
So I got to know before the interview that the conversations have started.
Okay.
So that's why I asked the question. That I know that Peace Council, Catholic Bishops Conference, and others have approached you, trying to get you to commit to a peace pact. And then he sort of gave the point. So it's very likely. In fact, this is not actually likely. It's actually what happened. That these things were happening in the choir. They were happening in the choir. The Peace Council wanted to get the consensus and get them to sign before a formal announcement be made. But of course, journalists are aware. I got wind of it. So I asked him. And so if you listen to the Peace Council, George Amo, the day after the story broke and the story went out that Asidun Ketia had said NDC won't sign, when I was speaking to him on Top Story, he was insisting that Asidun Ketia did not say that he won't sign or the NDC won't sign, and that they had concerns they are aware of, but he wouldn't say that. I said, but I did an interview. The man was very, very clear to me that he won't sign it. The reason why he was saying that was that because the private conversations, concerns have been raised, but the NDC had not stated in those stark terms that they are not going to sign. So now we know, beyond what he told me on PM Express, that they are not only going to sign, they actually have conditions that has come with the decision not to sign. This places the Peace Council in a very difficult, almost impossible situation, right? It is almost as if the Peace Council is now being required to facilitate the fulfillment of these 6 conditions. And you need to ask yourself whether the Peace Council really has it within its mandate. It even has the capacity to deliver on the 6. But one thing you cannot deny is the legitimacy of the concerns and the conditions that the NDC had put forth. You just elaborated on the Ayawaso West Organ. I was before the committee. I was before the committee. Yes. I was grilled for hours on that committee. And
it appears, at least from the commentary of the commissioners, that you excelled in the process. And you did well. You are a good witness. You shall be deployed for similar usages in the future. So
I must indicate that I have an interest. I have a stake in the implementation of that committee. Because at least for nothing, I spent at least 2 hours before the committee answering questions.
But we moved on. I think that's also the difficulty with this state. We moved on basically. We basically made it look like, oh well, let's forge forward. But now, Evans, it will be almost impossible for there to be an absolute implementation of every single one of those recommendations.
And that is exactly my point. I was asking the question yesterday of Acquah and Co.
It's almost saying that you don't want to go.
But that's exactly my point.
You see,
but Raymond, while we say that, we need to emphasize.
You want to take a lady out. Then the lady says that I don't have new clothes. Says, oh yeah, I can buy you. I can order one and bring it to you. So yes, my nails ought to be done too. But my nail, I especially do it at a very nice place. So you have to prefer the place. sometimes, even though those are necessities, some of them can be relaxed. But you see, if you ask me, essentially, I do not even support this so-called claim about peace pact. Let's be fair to ourselves. We have established a state that has functionaries. We pretend that, and let me read, I'll come to that point. The IDEC in 2020 did a nice video. It says a peace pact is a written and signed agreement and the handshake between your favorite presidential candidates. Candidates you've campaigned for, stood in the rainfall and braved the sunfall. You've argued in their interest. You've been loyal to them. Now it's time for them to be loyal to you, to your safety, to the peace we enjoy in this country. We have done this democracy for more than 3 decades. There's absolutely no need for us to pretend that anytime we go to an election, we need to sign some agreement that we will behave as Democrats, as people who are rationals. Do you know why? I think we get taken for granted all the time. A state like ours expects certain things to run normally. There are countries, in Morocco, less than 20% participate in the election. It's an ordinary day. The UK did their election. They moved on. I mean, all systems moving on. Don't tell me they've been doing election for 100 years. We cannot pretend that after 30 good years of Fourth Republic, every time we are going to hold an election, the main candidates ought to now come and do another commitment with the greatest of respect. The laws of this country are quite clear. You are perhaps some of the brightest of our own who want to lead the state. To even suggest that there's a tendency that you may resort to chaos or all the other things, it's completely cannot be understood by anybody. But let me bring in this point. Politicians that deliver domestic debt exchange, politicians that deliver economic crisis, if you are seeking among other things to replace yourself or reshuffle yourself, why should the rest of us not have peace because of that? I hope you get my point.
So your argument is that we don't need the
peace
pact?
We don't need there's no need for any pact. In fact, I support I won't sign, I will not sign, because it is pretentious engagement by our kind. And let's be, if we are not frank, we will continue with this so-called fair accomplish. I mean, let's follow it. Let's do something to represent something.
So my question to you is,
peace pacts will not prevent anybody. For example,
the first time we did it, let's look at the evidence. The first time we did this, so we've had, how many elections have we had since 1992? So 92, so 8?
Yes.
8 elections?
Yeah.
So 92, 2000, 2004,
8,
2008, 12,
16,
and
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
So that's 7.
Yeah.
Am I missing any?
No.
So this would be 8th.
Yes.
This would be the 8th elections. Okay. So let's look at the evidence.
No, it's so
92.
There's first.
92, 16.
Yes.
92, and we left that one. So this should be the 9th. You agree with me?
Yes.
But you agreed with me. So you're as guilty as myself in a miscalculation. So we have 8.
Yes.
This is the 9th. Let's look at the evidence. 1992.
Yeah.
Was there a peace pact? What did I remember?
I don't recall there was a peace pact.
For the peace pact concept, Acquah himself made a point.
They started the actual.
2012.
2012. Yes.
2012.
Yeah.
And we have 2016. We have 2020. Okay. So the most violent elections we've had in terms of lives lost, I believe, was in 2020.
Yeah. Because is it 7 or 8?
8. People
lost their lives.
Yes.
Despite a peace pact.
Yeah. Despite a peace pact. Okay. Then you go back to the years that I don't recall we had a peace pact, but I would dare say we never had a peace pact in 2000.
I don't recall too.
Now, the reason why I cited 2000, because the stakes were never higher.
It was the first time we were trying a turnover.
From a government that had its antecedents
in the military government. Yeah, it's true.
And that came to power through the power of the gun, through the barrel of the gun, right? And yet, the transition was largely peaceful. Of course, there were always skirmishes here and there and isolated incidents of violence. That's fine. But not as many people died in 2020 as compared to, if anybody died at all in 2000.
Yeah, that's true.
And we didn't have a peace pact then. Okay. So I'm just coming back.
So you're just backing it.
No, wait. I'm
just backing it.
I'm walking through it because we like evidence.
You are backing me.
I'm just looking at what the evidence said before I come to my conclusion on what you said. Mm-hmm. Then you come to 2004, which was largely smooth sailing, right?
Yeah.
It was largely smooth. Everybody took it for granted. We went. 2008 was also under high stakes.
Yeah.
First time the elections went to almost 3 rounds.
The first time NPP has had 8 years. First time NDC has had 8 years. Yes. And it was the first time we were going for an election beyond a turnover of 2 political parties.
But also the first time in terms of the margin of defeat.
Yeah.
Was around below 50,000 votes.
Something 40,000 or so.
Yes, it was below 50,000 votes. First time we've had that. So, and normally elections tend to become violent post-election period.
That's true.
When the margin is very close, everybody believes
something small could have changed the.
It's the reason why you hear Trump asking in Georgia, calling the Georgian Electoral Commission chair boss. Mm-hmm. He needs 11,000 votes. He was calling him to say, give me 11,000, find 11,000 votes for me because it's so small. And even then, without a peace pact, we still saved through and had a peaceful outcome. The power changed hand nicely. We had, isolated cases of violence. You come to 2012. The first time it went to the Supreme Court, that tells you that was a very contested election.
Yeah.
That the loser didn't accept the outcome.
Yes.
But that was a year we had a peace pact.
That's true.
So can you argue that the signing of the peace pact compelled, again, let's look at it this way. 2012 was the first time we had a disputed election. Mm-hmm. True or false?
Yeah. No. I mean, in 92, there was...
Oh, yeah, of course.
The stolen verdict and all of the other things.
Of course. I mean, the stolen verdict.
But this was a major competitive election being disputed.
Yeah, okay. So let's put it in great context. But then also it still went to the Supreme Court. Kind of an argument be made that we had that outcome because the peace pact in essence says, if you had disagreements about the outcome, you should resort to the court. In fact, it's written in the text they signed.
So, sorry, Mensah.
And the NPP, in fact, complied with the terms of the pact.
In fact, Mensah, what would have been the option?
Well, the option was violence.
Really?
The option was.
Is there any evidence of violence overturning elections in this country?
No, but the fact that we've not had it in the past doesn't mean that it will not happen in the future.
I am saying
there's a place for the pact.
No, I'm not saying that it did not serve any purpose in 2012. It could have. But I'm saying it is quite irresponsible on our part, especially on our political leaders.
It is an added layer of security going into the elections. No, it is that you can't dismiss that. No, it is definitely an added layer. We're talking about making the process free, fair, and secure.
Those are enshrined in the first and foremost, your constitutional dictates. Secondly, laws that you've made, your representation laws. I
disagree that we
the Electoral Commission specifically has roles to play.
That's true.
Having a credible election
backed by the force of law. Backed by force of law.
But you're not saying that what is not backed by law. What is observed in breach. More recently,
that is why I say my argument is it is an essential added component to the security of the poll going forward, to the conditions around which we deliver a peaceful outcome without violence.
If we strip ourselves of this,
without which, look, laws are meant to be broken. That's fine, but you see. What this does, and you read the point that
I think,
which is that you signed a pact to say.
But with respect, I was in this country. I just saw it recently. I didn't see it in 2020.
No, but I've always understood this to mean that the value it brings to the table when it comes to peace and security is that you place once you sign
moral suasion.
But beyond that, it is a pact not only, but it's a pact with the electorate, with Ghanaians. You're seeking to lead. No. That's what it is. It's a pact with Ghanaians.
They presented manifestos telling you
The manifestos are policy proposals. That is the social contract. This one is a pact to say that if I disagree with the outcome, I have issues with it, I will not resort to violence.
Nobody, worthy of being elected, nobody or his followers, worthy of being elected to lead the People's Republic of Ghana, can say that I want to kill you so that I'll lead you.
That's not true. Look,
it is completely ununderstandable. See,
both of us know
no,
that there are hawks in the NDC.
It is because I allow people to think they are.
There are hawks in the NDC, there are hawks in the MPP.
Oh.
When it comes down to it, there are people who advise John Mahama. Who will advise Nana Akufo-Addo?
No.
Who will advise the vice president to say, disregard, let's get people on the streets? Haven't you heard after the poll?
Those people
yelling on radio stations, mass up at the EC.
Evans, I agree with you.
Do you know what it takes? Do you know? No, wait.
They have no role in our politics.
No, they do.
It is do you know what? It is 14th century.
I agree.
It's not progressive.
Do you know what it takes?
Them.
Do you know what it takes to pull those people from the brink, to pull us back?
The Pact.
It takes no. It doesn't. Exactly. It takes the presidential candidates.
Yes.
Wait, they signed the pact. It's their signatures on it. And it's they who will come and tell the people,
Evans,
calm down. They will be telling John Mahama. They will be telling Nana Akufo-Addo. No, when he lost in 2013, there were people around him who said, don't accept it. Let's go back and file for a review of this at the Supreme Court. People who advised him that. People who said, no, let's get people on the streets. The Supreme Court had been unfair. This is let me finish this. And then the man said, he had a press conference said, I disagree, but I respect it. And he took a long break and went away. You know why he did that? I won't say the peace pact.
That's the least respect of Democrats.
No, I'm not. I won't say the peace pact is the only reason why he did that. But it is
I don't even think it was part of the reasons why he did that.
No, but it is definitely one of the
reasons. I don't
know
where he was it's referenced. Where is it referenced that because of the peace pact? Where? I've watched Akufo-Addo documentary. I've watched Akufo-Addo documentary.
There's no reference.
There's no way I've heard anybody say that because of the peace pact. We all agree that this peace pact
nobody will say that.
It's a ceremonial thing.
No, it's not ceremonial. It's beyond that.
It's of
moral suasion, but it's the pact with the people.
The more we do this,
you will present yourself as a liar and a party that cannot be trusted if you commit to peace in front of 30 plus million Ghanaians, only for you to renege on that promise.
The people who deserve peace pact are, for example, the independent institutions of state who are to ensure that the right things are done. They are the ones who should be signing peace pact. I think that we have moved beyond the point where we cannot expect of the people who want to lead us to be rational human beings, to be law-abiding human beings, to the extent that they need a peace pact to force them to obey.
But that's why we have laws, because people will not necessarily be evil.
No, but what shows that the peace pact is going to prevent them from being
laws? Laws don't prevent armed robbers from robbing you.
Almighty peace pact was in effect.
So obviously, the peace pact will not prevent people.
But how do you explain to the families of those 8 or 7 that died in the last election that there was a peace pact that was supposed to prevent that? You cannot explain that.
But you see,
if your
the NDC that felt victimized, did not plunge this country into chaos.
How are they supposed to do that?
No, but I'm making a point to you that 8 people died. You're making a point. You can't explain to their family that there was a peace pact.
Yeah.
There was a peace pact. People died nonetheless.
Yes.
But it could have been far worse post the death of those 8.
Where's the evidence?
If their families
Where's
and the NDC, remember. But the evidence is that this country was intact after the 8 died. And that is why
you say peace pact is supposed to ensure peace.
Yes.
Then people have died in the process.
No.
You say, it is at the level of peace would have been.
The limitation of the damage was in part due to the peace pact. That is why Acquah Nketiah is telling you. Wait.
We cannot give our country.
That is why Acquah Nketiah is telling you today that we signed a peace pact.
Yeah.
And we got our people. He didn't say that in those words.
Yeah,
but we complied with the terms of the pact, even after 8 of our people, because they feel victimized. Even after 8 of our people died, we complied. We did not get this country to degenerate to violence. What could have happened? Because there are people who, in Techiman South, would have said, let's retaliate. Right? But the party, I remember John Mahama leading a delegation to the place, calming tensions. He signed a peace pact. He led that. So after 4 years, if we don't have an outcome, when it comes to investigation, prosecution, then Acquah Nketiah would well be within his rights to say, I'm not going to sign another one. Last time I complied.
Professor Ajiman Bafo Ajimandi agreed with me that for a country that has done elections and has had a fourth republic for more than 3 decades, to still be discussing issues of peace pact is disgraceful. And it's completely so. It's almost as if we are third world people. No, it's as if we are 14th century.
But third world. What are you?
No, we have advanced.
Please,
middle income lower.
We are third world.
No, but you see, Evans, we don't entertain ourselves that way. A country that's not reaping the benefits of democracy cannot be consistently be having debates about, oh, let's commit the people who want to lead us to remain peaceful. For Christ's sake. If you don't want to remain peaceful, what will you do?
I agree with your criticism of the system that still celebrates peace as some silver bullet to stop us from killing ourselves.
And you agree with me that it's unnecessary?
No. that is where we depart. That's where we depart. I agree with the criticism that the signing it alone shows we haven't developed enough. We are not mature enough as a democracy. But the reality is, the fact is, we are not mature enough as a democracy.
Really?
Of course. Are you kidding me? Your democracy pales in comparison to UK. You're aspiring to be that. If you compare to the advanced democracy,
people in our politics are the topmost.
You
have better
are
education.
still a young democracy. What do you expect?
Some of the people at the helm of our politics have better education, they have better competencies, and they have better skills than their counterparts in the UK.
Yes.
You know what I'm trying to say? I'm saying
it's
that
not the individual. Our institutions are not that mature.
Oh, really?
Are you kidding me? I can't compare Parliament or the police service.
See, have you seen
the
UK electoral commissioner? Have you seen that guy? Some public servant, we roam in the system, then he was statistician, then moved to electoral commissioner. If you compare to the CV of Jane Mensah,
it is not the individual. It is not about the individual. Let me quote you Obama. It's not about strong individuals.
I am saying
it's about the strong institutions.
We cannot give excuses to ourselves. We should stop this thing.
No, I agree with the view, but I don't agree with your conclusion.
Cannot be held to ransom.
I don't agree with your conclusion. No. How is the peace pact holding you to ransom?
Because it's been made to look like without a peace pact, we will not be peaceful. Get the conversation today that's happening. Oh, we need the NDC on the table. No. We need them. We need them because there might be something happening.
No, you see,
without them, there will be danger. Who says so?
Without the peace pact,
yes,
there is no guarantee that it will be peaceful.
With the peace pact, there's no guarantee that it will be peaceful.
I haven't finished my point. There's no guarantee that it will be peaceful. There's also no guarantee that it will not be peaceful, right? But I'd rather have the peace pact there than not have it at all. Both outcomes are guaranteed. True or false? The outcome that there will be violence or no violence.
Yes.
Not guaranteed.
Yes.
Right? But I'd rather have the peace pact than not have it.
Instead of believing
because in the
false peace pact, we as a people.
So what do you do instead?
No. Should now look at the various institutions that's supposed to be
we have 3 months to go. Like, how are you going to do that?
Even 1 week. We should be able to question ourselves and see beyond this and say, listen, let people be responsible people. No, let people be mature people.
That's
no, that's the problem.
That's utopian.
But people who believe in peace pact believe that making sure that your institutions work is utopian. People who believe that merely signing a document will make any change in this country.
See, because our institutions aren't fully mature, because our police service still has significant deficiencies, although with all the exceptional work that the IGP is doing, because our military, because our courts, because the electoral commission, all of them are still maturing and aren't there yet. It is why you need every single tool, every single weapon thrown at securing the peace. And I'm saying, in that arsenal, definitely must be included a peace pact. Because our institutions aren't there yet. And so what you are suggesting we do may or may not work because you have weak institutions. Really? Institutions that you are still trying to grow, you're still trying to get to mature. 3 decades, it pales in comparison. You know how long it takes. You know the Greek democracy, how long it's been?
I'm not disputing.
And you're talking about 3 decades. It's nothing. 3 decades in the big scheme of maturing democracy is absolutely
try
nothing.
Something else.
What?
We should try something else because it's not going to work.
Oh, it will work. You know how long it took the UK?
2 years, 200 years.
UK's democracy.
300 years.
Of course.
400 years.
Oh, about American democracy of more than 200 years.
We are selling ourselves short. We are very distinguished people in this country. And I'm telling you, I'm saying that our people...
history. You're celebrating America. They used to kill themselves in the Civil War.
Yes.
Have you had a Civil War?
Oh, not necessarily in this make.
So what are you talking about? You are 30 years old.
We have had our own difficulties as a country.
Yes, of course.
It's these excuses we give ourselves that is preventing us from evolving into what we ought to be. We need to man up and do what is right.
No, I agree.
How can we allow adults sit in a meeting, you go for an election,
I agree
then
with you.
We are justifying...
I agree with you
that
signing a peace pact is us standing on top of the roof and screaming that we are not mature as a democracy. I get it. But I disagree with your conclusion that because of that, don't sign it. It doesn't hurt to sign. What does it take away from you from signing? What do you lose from
the
signing?
false sense of security. The false sense of security.
So that if you don't sign it, you won't have false sense of security.
We expect people to be matured. So that's the reality on the ground.
You're talking about expectation.
Yes, but that's the reality.
You're dealing with people who are hungry for power, who do anything to have the power. You hear the Agriculture Minister, and you're talking about expectation. You expect them. You expect them.
And it's even part of the problem. You are getting some people that believe that, I'm hungry for power. To do what?
But they are. I mean, it's just a reality. I'm just stating what it is.
We have to evolve as a people.
But
the things of importance to our state today.
What you're saying
has very little to do with whether or not I can kill somebody for power.
I get it, but we haven't matured as a people. We haven't.
This is damning verdict you are delivering of our people. Some of our Harvard-educated, Oxford-educated people in the Republic of Ghana.
Harvard-educated people are the most guilty. Of course. Because they go to acquire the knowledge to come and pillage.
I see.
The guys who have been pillaging this economy, are they the guys in the village who are going to the farm every day to go and farm and go and uproot cocoyam and yam from the ground?
On that point, I'm not disputing.
So what I say?
I am saying that it doesn't mean we should excuse their behavior.
Who?
Would that be
but how is signing a peace by excusing their behavior?
Yeah, because you are giving them a reason. Oh no, the tendency for you to misbehave is there. Come and commit to non-misbehaving.
Of course. Then just do away with your laws.
No, the laws, we have all agreed it should bind us. If I go contrary to the law, just like if a presidential candidate A or B or C,
why do we have
let the laws work?
We have laws because human beings are naturally, innately, and be irrational, although they should be.
Lord Bingham, explain what rule of law is supposed to be. Clearly, irrespective of who is committing the crime. Let the laws of this republic work.
Again,
so if human beings are gunned down and killed in an electioneering process, no excuses could be made for them. So that we give ourselves pact arrangements of a sort, peace deal, peace whatever, so that we put chiefs in the middle of it. And as Mensah, it's time for us to advance as a people. It's time for us to move to the levels.
But we are not there yet. As we speak today, with 3 months on election, we are not there yet.
So which one? The next election or the next 40 years?
We should work towards the next election. It will take a long time. It will take more than 100 years to get there, maybe.
Of course, 100 good years. Before we stop signing documents to remain, to be disciplined as a people.
History teaches us that this democracy will take a far longer time to mature. It will take a far longer time. Definitely not 3 decades.
Really?
Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah. But the evidence globally shows that democracies do not mature in 30 years.
No. Democracies can mature in 2 elections if the people are committed to that process. No. See, what is really is democracy here? We are saying that having to go to the polls to elect someone to represent our interest is all that we are doing. People have put themselves out to be in the race. They will be bickering. We are saying that do not take the law into your hands. Is it too much to ask? We tell primary school kids the same thing.
Yeah, of course. But that's what we tell them. But I'm saying that add that extra layer. Let's read a few of your messages.
Let's sign a peace pact to agree to disagree.
There's no significance of that peace pact because it doesn't even serve the purpose for which it was created. Those who sign don't adhere to it. Isaac Bedu, I have MTN, Telecel, etc. He's selling. Says, you see why we where we are today is due to the lackadaisical attitude of the government and institutions who have slept on their duty and mandate given them by the state. I was present at the Techiman South incident, and guys, what we saw was horrible. But to hear Joe Weiss say to those who were shot were armed robbers and no government official, including the president, was interested in this issue, and this peace council, who suddenly are alive. I support the NDC for not signing. They can't sit there for them to tie their hands to their backs. And I
suspect they'll go and sign later on anyway.
I think of the people feel cheated in an election. No political party leadership can stop them from violence. I believe so too. I believe.
No, they also go and sign. They'll go and sign. After some, we'll be giving assurances. They'll go and sign.
Yeah. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the evening.